Mini celebration, absolutely massive part of the revival for 2009, with very good reason, because it was in 1959, August 59 to be precise, that Sir Alec Isagonis's masterpiece arrived. It was slow to take off, but when it did in the swinging 60s, it became the iconic motor car. Celebrities started to espouse them, the man in the street could afford them, and well, when it came to competition, there was virtually no limit to their potential once tweaked by the likes of the Cooper Car Company and that great sorcerer, Daniel Richmond from Downton Engineering. He was the man who set a lot of the specs for the Cooper S evocation of the Mini. They raced successfully, they rallied very successfully, winning the Monte Carlo Rally, many others throughout Europe. Racing successes, including numerous British and European saloon car championships with the likes of Sir John Whitmore and Warwick Banks and others, right through to Richard Longman in the 70s with the 1275 GT. The Mini, with its transverse four-cylinder power plant, very, very compact transmission, was not only a great triumph of packaging, but its components lend themselves to many, many other types of kit car, if you like. We see quite a lot of those beneath us too. We see Mini Marcuses, one in component form, one actually on the track. You see an Ogle GT, beautiful little Unipower. There's a GTM down there, a Tichy, a Biota. We've seen a Nimbus during the weekend as well. That's down there too.
Spirit of Aviation Park, the Freddie March Spirit of Aviation Concourse Park. There are some stunning pieces of kit over there, just as there are in the paddocks around the paddock area, and so on and so forth. With the
Peter, anything particularly catch your eye down there?
Yeah, there's a beautifully prepared Cessna 195 down there, which I think, for my money, takes the prize. But that's just my opinion. It isn't necessarily what the general consensus will be.
Are you on the panel? Are you on the panel? Well, maybe not.
Sorry?
I wonder whether you're on the panel, Peter.
No.
Well.
No. I would not like to be in that position. I don't envy Buzz, actually, or the other guys on the panel, because there are so many splendid aeroplanes over there that, you know, choosing one for that particular trophy is incredibly difficult. They did remarkably well last year because they chose the Spartan Executive, which was absolutely outstanding, I must say. And of course, there's a second one here this year, which may also do a double, so who knows?
Fantastic. Well, let's see how it goes. Let's go back to the Minis on course. On your big screens, this Bouldermobile of the Slag brothers, harking back to the Wacky Racers. Might be something that Buzz Aldrin's seen a few times in his lifetime. Meanwhile, here come the Goodwood Road Menders with their Mini, with the big aerofoil on the back. And if you remember back to the 1960s, McLaren tried aerofoils on the back, just put them on the back of Mini pickups before they put them on their race cars, just to get a vague idea of what they do at low speed, let alone high, so they fall off the back of the Mini. Mr. Bean, fortunately the armchair is sold with him in it. He's following the Fab 6 round, with Minis in the Union Jack colours. And on the far side, we're certainly approaching 11. Well, there's the Mini Moke. It was like on Friday, I recall a company in Battersea, South London, called Runner Moke. Had a whole fleet of these in wild colours, which you could hire to travel around the metropolis, should you so desire. Terribly weatherproof, but rather good fun on a sunny day like today. The Fab Minis out front. There's Mr. Bean giving chase. Behind them, the extraordinary stretch limo Mini, which is available for weddings and prom nights. There's the outspan orange. There are only a few of these made for the advertising campaign back in the 1970s. What a car to drive a great distance in.
I thought I had.
Just have a great promotional tool. There is the very dramatic looking stretch limo behind.
I'll need that back because it's my only one.
Bean with the wind whistling up his trouser legs. I just wonder whether he's Mr. Bean's a mop salesman, because you've got mops hanging out of the car. Of course, that's what Brian Redman was in his early working life in Blackburn. He was a mop salesman, went on to be one of the greatest race drivers we've ever known. Bruce, what can you see out your side of the circuit at St Mary's?
Well, I'm just getting the tail end of the cars whizzing onto, well, a sextet of the cars whizzing onto the grass, around the Cornstukes, around the faux commentary position on the inside of the circuit, and back onto the track. Mr. Bean waving and hearing the excited shrieks of the children who suddenly recognised who was coming around.
This is one of the rallycross minis, one of the two Jumping Jeff Williamson British Owned special tuning minis. They followed the rally cars lead by slaloming in and out of the Cornstukes, and the Italian job cars seem to have taken their lead. Coming round, we've got an AA van. There's that Roadworks van. We've got a wooden picket mini with the Mercedes-style front lights on it. Just flash through the screen. One of these Fab minis has a huge number of people inside it. It's terribly uncomfortable. So there's a couple of laps you can put up with it. As Mr. Bean goes around, I can see the lovely little yellow Unipower GT developed by Tim Powell, later with Piers World Forester. I think that Ernie Unger was involved in that car as well. A guy went on to work for Gordon Spice, the former British touring car champion. There is Monsieur Erico, determined, leaning out, watching those motorcyclist sidecar races in the box. Clearly the weight transfer just right. Now in Echelon, the Union Jack minis to another lap. Mr. Bean has completed his Royal Progress Tour. Away, cameras around. The stretch limo, quite something. Wonder how it handles. Not as nimbly as those cars in the race yesterday. Darren Turner hopping over the curbs with an interesting car, the single-seater, the all-aluminium single-seater.
Oh, good.
Is the Deep Sanderson Twinny. Did a few club races in the early 60s, an engine in each end. Very Nutley, our motorcycle sage, suggests that it might be a long story telling us how the stretch limo handles, which is very amusing. The great joy of judging concours, and you can judge for yourself, your nicest mini or mini derivative, is that the whole thing is totally subjective, and one man's meat's another's poison, isn't it? And every conceivable derivative on track, a couple of extraordinary three-wheelers. We've got it's the Wild Goose motor caravan, which takes about 6 very small people, presumably while the parents sit next door in their Winnebago. Barry, Mini experience. You drove a Mini, I'm sure.
Yeah, I had 3 or 4. It was my first car on the road, a 59 X Berkshire County Council nurse's car.
Registration number?
UMO 84 something.
Very good.
Not too bad, Berkshire. Yeah. Well, this is very sedate progress around here, Marcus, of course, and Mr. Bean having a lot of fun. Wouldn't it be great to see him in the next event on a G50 matchless with an armchair strapped on? How funny would that be?
He's quite a tall lad, isn't he?
He is a tall.
We've seen some very tall riders over the years take part in the motorcycle events, and it always amazes me how they... there's a guy who races the Velocet, isn't there? Enormously tall fellow.
Absolutely, yeah.
Folds up like a paper clip, the thing. And
well, you know, on that note, we've got, as the minis take off onto the rough stuff, the rallycross cars there, we've got the motorcycle race, the Barry Sheen Memorial Trophy coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, and if it lives up to the sort of action we had yesterday, you have got a 25-minute spectacle ahead of you coming up. Terrific race ahead of us, motorbikes next, but We're still with the Minis, and there is that very long story.
Must be sort of shored up underneath, mustn't it? Because it's a long way between the front subframe and the rear axle of that car. That's the great thing about the Mini, because the engine and gearbox came out on a subframe, and you can pop it into another shell, or you can pop it into a car of your own design, as many did. Just can't keep off the green stuff, can they, these people?
I was racing motorbikes in scrambles in those days, and I towed up and down the country with my Mini with 500 BSA and a 250 cotton on the back. So they were good workhorses. You know, in all fairness, they were, as you said yesterday, Marcus, they've moulded the lives of so many people.
Yeah, and unless it was wet, you were in good shape. I mean, they leaked a bit in the wet, and of course, with the distributor sitting right at the front, they tended to conk out quite a lot. The cars, the Italian job trio, the red, white and blue cars. There they are, in among the Corn Stooks. There was an interesting fact emerged from one guru of film. That was that the leading role was often to Robert Redford, politely declined.
Goodness me.
He gave it to Michael Caine instead.
So that's gone down as one of the best decisions in
Not many people know that.
Not a lot of people know that. You are so right, Marcus. Yeah, you learn something every day. That's the beauty of the Goodwood revival. You never stop learning.
That's right. You learn something chaque jour, as they say in Bolton, if you're French. Ish.
Absolutely.
Well, Mr. Bean.
We're so lucky with the weather. On a serious note, aren't we blessed with the weather again?
We've had a real mare of a summer, haven't we? And to have a couple of days of sunshine, we're only halfway through it, but yeah, we are truly blessed. And someone up there is smiling down upon us. I think it's probably something to do with Canon Lionel Webber. He's got a bit of an inside line, I believe.
Well, Lord March can pull strings just about anywhere, can't he? He certainly has done the job here again this weekend. Fabulous weather, fabulous turnout, ladies and gentlemen. Great to see you all in costume. And after the motorcycle race, I look forward to mingling a bit and going having a look round.
Thinking back to that first revival in 1998, and when it was announced that there would be a dress code, it was like a universal sort of arms went up, shouts of horror. What are we supposed to do? Of course, more people thought about it and thought, well, why not? Sort of raid the parents' wardrobes, etc. So they've got them tucked away in lofts. Go to the shops and pick something up. Here, some action aggravation on the course. Mr. Bean has obviously offended somebody because he's being chased. And the police are after him.
He jumped the stop sign. That's the problem.
Is that what it was?
He went through the stop red.
Simple as that. He's not driving it, in fairness. I guess it's the guy downstairs who is in trouble.
Well, I don't know. If you give him enough rope.
One of the slowest high-speed pursuits in history. Yes, exactly. They are chasing in a Mini.
Well, at least if he crashes, he's got something to cushion the blow. And I thought he was for a minute there, going into the end of pit lane.
That's why he has that mop. It's just so he can plonk it down like a pole vaulter into the pit and climb down, isn't it? Well, as the Minis leave the circuit, time then to hear from our invaluable commercial partners here at Goodwood.